Welcome and welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Corey, and today we are tier ranking every single team's 2026 NBA draft class. Now, within these tier rankings, we are also going to be just ranking them in general from 30 to 1, but of course, you're going to be seeing the tier ranking on your screen in a little bit. But with the second round ending yesterday, so the entirety of the NBA draft is over, I figured this was a good time to kind of take a deep dive into each and every team's NBA draft prospects and kind of rank them, based on where guys went, their value, the talent itself, how teams navigated the draft. So I took a couple things into account while I did these rankings. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. And here we are on Tier Maker. We have all 30 NBA teams sitting right here, and we're just going to start off with 30. The Portland Trailblazers, the only team that didn't have a draft pick. Simple enough. F, worst, nothing more to say. Now, sitting at number 29, I'm going to have the Orlando Magic also in the F tier. They only went and grabbed Isaiah Nelson in the back half of the second round. Not a bad pick, likely a two-way guy. Not really much to say there, same as with the Blazers. And another team with not too much to say is the New York Knicks, also will be in F tier. Coming away with Jack Cale and Tyler Nickel, two guys, once again, probably will not play. I probably would have gave them a higher ranking if they did make their first round selection, but they traded back a lot, got a lot of cash, and I know they're trying to save money and they're trying to bring back as many guys as possible from their championship run. But in terms of just this draft class and their two guys that they did grab, I'm not really too keen on that. Now, coming next at 27, we had the New Orleans Pelicans will also be going in F tier. They grab Jason Pierre Jr. in the second round, who I don't think is a bad ball player at all. Really good scorer coming out of SMU, and another guy that's probably just going to be on a two-way contract. And the wings and the guards in New Orleans right now, they have a solid plethora of those guys. Jordan Poole is still on this roster, even though he didn't play a lot last year. Trey Murphy's still here for now. Herb Jones is here for now. They just drafted Jeremiah Fears last year, so not a lot of open room for him to come in and get some minutes immediately, but a two-way guy that can maybe help you down the line, and definitely a really good scorer. So hey, can't complain with that, but we have them sitting at number 27 for now. And at number 26, coming right behind them, is the Indiana Pacers grabbing Braden Smith in the second round. Getting into this draft, I don't believe they had a pick before draft night, but they end up jumping into the second round to grab Braden Smith. A good playmaking guard, can maybe come in and become a Tyler McConnell replacement down the line. As we know, he's only getting older, and Braden Smith can just come in and kind of take over that role seamlessly almost. He also, just like TJ McConnell, he likes that mid-range jump shot. So it'll be interesting to see. I think I kind of see the vision there, but once again, only getting one pick at the end of the first round, or end of the second round, it's not going to do too much for me. And next we have the Houston Rockets at 25, and I think this is going to be the last team in the F tier for me. They go out and get Bruce Thornton. They do get much needed shooting. They don't really get too much. I don't think he's going to be like a point guard at this level, a guy that's going to bring the ball up and kind of set the offense. But he did shoot 41% from three. But there are some guys that I think could have benefited more from at pick 31 as opposed to Bruce Thornton. I think Malik Thomas was still on the board. There were still some solid guards. Isaiah Evans was still there if you needed shooting, and he has a little bit more size. But hey, that's why they're an F tier. Is really, I think, even though Bruce Thornton, I think, can be a really good catch and shooter at the next level, I think there were some guys on the board that still offered a little bit more on both ends of the floor than Bruce Thornton. Coming in at number 24, and the first team I'm going to throw in D tier is the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets come away with Trevon Brazile and Bryce Hopkins. Trevon Brazile, I believe 4 years in college, super athletic, shot blocker, can knock down the three a little bit, super active on the glass. This is somebody that I thought the Lakers would have went after in the draft. This is somebody that my Wizards, I kind of was hoping that we grabbed in the second round, but Denver snatches him up. Bryce Hopkins, score. We know that he can do that, and maybe he's probably going to be a two-way guy, but maybe he can come in and contribute, and especially in Denver where, you know, you have Christian Brown making a lot of money, Nikola Jokic is making a lot of money, Jamal Murray's making a lot of money, and you're trying to re-sign Peyton Watson, and I mean Aaron Gordon's also making a lot of money. So you're going to have to win around the margins, and in these second rounds, if you can find guys that are two-way now, you can convert them, and they can give you some really, really good minutes, especially in the regular season and maybe even in the playoffs. That would be really good for you, but I have them sitting at 24 and in D tier. And right after them, at 23, I had the Phoenix Suns, who went out and grabbed Koa Pete. That is their only pick of the draft at the end of the first round, pick number 30. And I mean, Koa Pete, he has potential, and picking him at 30, I think, I mean, not a bad idea, but I probably, as Phoenix, you know, obviously there hasn't been a lot of talk about Devin Booker going anywhere, but you don't have a whole lot of time. I mean, everybody's making moves. As you just saw in my last video, LaMelo Ball was just traded to the Timberwolves. We just got a Giannis trade. So this league is moving fast, and especially with this upcoming new lottery and the parity that we have in this league, you never know when a superstar is going to be ready to leave. So I was kind of hoping that they would go a little bit more, a more ready prospect as opposed to potential, but still getting Koa Pete at 30 and the potential of that, I still have to applaud that in some way. So I have them at 23. Now sitting at 22, I'm going to have Ryan Conwell and the Miami Heat. Like I just mentioned, the Miami Heat just traded for Giannis and kind of gutted their roster. So just like the Denver Nuggets, they're going to need to win between the margins in the draft and in the second rounds and find these hidden gems. And I think Ryan Conwell can be one of those. A scorer, can absolutely knock the three ball down. So putting shooting and scoring around Bam and Giannis is going to be much needed. And to get him in the second round, who some people maybe thought he was creeping in to the first round a little bit, but I think this is good value and a good fit for the Miami Heat. Coming in at 21, I think this might be my first C-tier team, low key. Yeah, I think this is my first C-tier team. We're going to have Malik Thomas and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, once again, he fell to the second round. I think consensus had him in the first round. Definitely mocked in Minnesota prior to the Julius Randle trade where they gave that pick to Brooklyn. But even then, I thought, yeah, he fell into the second round, but he's definitely going to get picked up by Minnesota. But he ends up going past Minnesota, and Cleveland scoops him up. He's going to be able to come in and provide a scoring punch off the bench that they are much, much needed, especially if they plan on bringing everybody back. That's D-Midge, James Harden, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. They're definitely going to need a lot of scoring off the bench, and Malik Thomas can come in right away and provide that. And we know that he can play next to guys. He played next to Darius Acuff at Arkansas, so I don't think that would be an issue for him playing next to everybody else on this roster. Coming in at number 20, we have the Toronto Raptors. I'm gonna put them in C tier as well, and just not a huge fan of this draft. I think that they could have went LeBaron Philon. Instead, they go Allen Graves, and of course they pick up Jaden Bradley in the second round. Obviously, they have a type, if you will, long wings, can do a lot, versatile on both ends of the floor, and Allen Graves can knock the three ball down. So they do get shooting, but I think LeBaron Philon's there on the board. I think that was like a perfect pick for them. But they pass up on LeBaron Philon. They go get Allen Graves. They go out and pick Jaden Bradley, who I think is just super, super similar to Jamal Shead, but I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe obviously they know more than me, but I don't know. I just don't. I really don't know what the direction was with those two picks. I believe that there were better picks and better fits on the board in those spots. Now, sitting at number 19, we had the Minnesota Timberwolves just slightly ahead of the Toronto Raptors in C tier. Going out, you get Isaiah Evans. Trey Kaufman-Renn is probably going to be a two-way guy and might not play much. But another team, like I said, I thought was going to go and grab Malik Thomas. But as you see, they just traded for LaMelo Ball. So going out and getting Isaiah Evans and his shooting ability, very, very needed, especially with the type of money that you're going to have tied up in cap this year with LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards. You just re-signed Ayo, and of course Jaden McDaniels, and you still have Rudy Gobert. To be able to bring a rookie scale deal of Isaiah Evans and his shooting caliber to this team, I think it's going to be much needed, and I think that he can come in immediately and provide a spark for this team to make a playoff run. Now, speaking of the LaMelo trade, we're going to have the Charlotte Hornets coming in right after them at, 18. We're going to have the Charlottes coming right after them at 18. You grab Hans Steinbach, you grab Christian Anderson, and at first I didn't really get it. Obviously, you have LaMelo. I was assuming they were going to re-sign Coby White and kind of move from there. But once they picked Christian Anderson, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe Coby White is off the table. Well, no, LaMelo Ball is off the table. And Coby White, you just re-signed him. I believe he got like 4 years, like 80, something like that. Shout out to him. But yeah, I love the Hans Steinbach pick, one of my guys in this draft. And you get him right at the end of the lottery. That's really good value in my opinion. And then Christian Anderson, once again, LeBaron Fallon was on the board. I believe is a better player. Maybe they just liked him more, and that's fine. I can get behind that. But still, I believe that, if LaMelo was in the cards to be traded before the draft, I don't know. I just don't know. Obviously, you trade LaMelo, so it maybe makes a little bit more sense. But I just don't really know a lot of the direction that the Hornets are going in right now, especially with the LaMelo trade in this draft. But I guess we'll just have to see. Coming in right after them, I think I'm going to have Detroit in C tier at 17. No. We're going to throw them in B tier. We're going to have Detroit in B tier at 17. It's a little bit of bias because they grabbed Ibuka Okori, who, once again, one of my guys in this draft and a lottery talent, I thought. So to be able to move up and get him from the Memphis Grizzlies, I believe, at 19, really, really good value in my opinion. You also grab Ugonna Onyeso, who is probably going to be a two-way guy once again, but really focused on Ibuka Okori. You needed secondary creation. You needed guard help for Cade, and he can come in. I believe he can play next to Cade, especially since Cade is 6'6". So you don't really have to worry about having two small guards out there at one time. We're rolling out Danish Jenkins during the playoffs. I believe he can be more impactful than Danish Jenkins. He can also, give Cade some relief. And I think Cade can be on the bench a little bit longer, especially during the regular season with Ibuka Okori at the helm. They did trade away Isaiah Stewart, and it's been reports that they're linked to they're going after another guy. So maybe Ibuka Okori is not going to be asked to do as much as I think that he could and should be able to do. But nonetheless, really, really good value and a really good pick there for the Detroit Pistons. Now coming in at 16, also in B tier, right above the Detroit Pistons, I will have the Golden State Warriors, who go out and get Yaxel Lindenborg and Lajay Jones. Yaxel, I had him mocked to them for I don't know how long. I think this is a perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors. He can shoot, dribble, pass, rebound, defend, and can come in and do it immediately. Is not going to have too much time to learn and develop. He can come in, and especially if you're trying to win now with Steph Curry and get him another ring, this is a perfect pick for them. Lajay Jones, I don't know a lot about him, but I did just see on Twitter he had a game where he went 10 of 21 from 3. So if he can do that like once or twice in next year, then hey, it's a good pick. But other than that, I don't really know much about him. But Yaxel is a really good pick for them in my opinion, and that's why they're here at number 16. Moving on into the top 15. At 15, we are going to have the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I'm not denying the talent. Morris Johnson Jr., talented. Sergio Delaria, talented. Toby Lawal, athletic. I don't know much about this last guy. I'm not going to butcher his name, but I believe he's probably going to be a drafting stash. And Sergio Delaria is deciding if he wants to come over to the NBA this year. But yeah, like I said, talented class, but I think you could have probably got Morris Johnson Jr. You probably could have traded down, recoup some assets, and got him at like 11 or 12 or something like that. I think Sergio Delaria is also another guy that you maybe could have gotten a little later. I believe they traded up to go get him, in fact. But yeah, like I said, not denying the talent, but just some guys that I think maybe you could have got a little bit lower, and you could have recouped some assets and be able to just get better value for these guys. But not denying the talent whatsoever. Right above them at 14, I'm going to have the Los Angeles Lakers and my favorite player in this draft, Cam Carr. For him to fall to 24 is an absolute steal. I think that he's going to be the steal of this draft. Before the draft, I said that I think that he could be a star in this league. Now, are the Lakers the best situation for that? Not really, but I think that this is the best situation for him to be able to have a long NBA career. He comes in right away. He knows his job, knock down three-pointers, and defend at a high level, and that's it. That's all we need you to do. And I think he can do that perfectly, not being tasked too much offensively, just having to knock down threes, and like I just said, just defend. I think it's a perfect spot for him. I think it's a perfect pick for the Los Angeles Lakers, especially getting him that late in the draft and not having to give up too much. I believe they only traded like cash considerations to move up one spot with the Knicks. But yeah, really, really good player, really good spot for him, and a really good pick by the Los Angeles Lakers. Coming in at number 13, I'm still rock with the B tier for the Brooklyn Nets. Michael Brown Jr., Joshua Jefferson, and Tyler Bilodeau. I don't know much about Tyler, but he's probably going to be a two-way guy. Joshua Jefferson they grab at the back half of the first round with that Minnesota pick. And, of course, Michael Brown Jr. went number 6 to the Brooklyn Nets. I love the Michael Brown Jr. pick. But Joshua Jefferson is a little bit of a head scratcher. I didn't expect Brooklyn to go with an older prospect, but at the same time, that late in the draft, there were a lot of older prospects and a lot of guys that were like seniors in college and things of that nature. But I do think there were way better players still on the board at that point. I believe Christian Nack was still on the board. I mean, you just gave up Nick Claxton. Why not take a chance on a Christian Nack? Obviously, Isaiah Evans was still there. Malik Thomas was still there, but they decided to go with Joshua Jefferson. I just feel like there were still some better players on the board. Nonetheless, Joshua Jefferson is still talented, and maybe he can sit behind Julius Randle and kind of learn from him, and you can kind of say, hey, maybe later down the line, this is going to be like our Julius Randle, but we won't have to pay him as much, and I think he can be a little bit better of a playmaker than Julius Randle. But I guess I can maybe see the vision, but as of right now, I have the Nets sitting at 13 in terms of this draft ranking. And speaking of Christian Nack, I'm going to have the Boston Celtics right above the Brooklyn Nets, who went out and got Christian Nack at pick 28, as well as Dylan Mitchell in the second round. I love Christian Nack. I had him mocked to the Spurs at 20. I saw him mocked a lot to the Sixers and some other teams a little bit earlier. But he falls to 28, and it looked like he could have fell out of the first round for a little bit with Terrence Reed going before him and Jaden Quaidus going before him. But the Celtics swoop him up at 28. We know that they needed front court help, and I think he fits their system to a T with the projection of his shooting. You know, he has a solid form, and I think he can be a knockdown shooter at the 4 or 5 position for them, and we know that they can develop talent. So for them to get a guy like this that is going to need a little bit of development, but to go to your development system, I think this is a really good value and really good pick for the Boston Celtics. Coming in at number 11, creeping into that top 10, our first A-tier team is the Philadelphia 76ers. Going and getting the Baron Fylon. Now, is the fit great? We are going to find out. But to get the talent of LeBaron Fylon at, I believe, pick 21, you can't ask for much more. To get a guy like LeBaron Fylon, who was mocked in the lottery for a lot of this draft cycle, kind of fell out of the lottery a little bit towards the end, and obviously we knew one of these guards had to fall. I personally didn't think it would be LeBaron. I thought it would be a Christian Anderson or a Bennett Sturts, but nonetheless, you get LeBaron Fylon at pick 21. You get some backup guard play. You get some backup scoring. I mean, hey, really, really talented, great value. That's why the Sixers are here at number 11. Now, going into the top 10, we have the Milwaukee Bucks at number 10, who go out and grab Braden Burries, Nate Ament, and Malik Lewis. I love Nate Ament. I think he's going to be really good, a really, really good basketball player. Braden Burries comes in, high floor, high ceiling, immediately good at everything, can be a 1, can be a 2. You can kind of see how you want to develop him, and he has different avenues to what his career could be. And like I said, I love Nate Ament. I think he can be a really, really good shot creator and shot maker in this league. We know he can put the ball on the floor if he can improve his strength and improve his handle. I don't really see too much getting in his way. I don't know much about Malik Lewis, but in terms of the first round picks for the Milwaukee Bucks, 2 really, really good picks for them. And I'm definitely a fan. And I'll probably be tuning in. They'll probably be one of my League Pass teams in this upcoming 2026-2027 season. Coming in at number 9, we have the San Antonio Spurs. They will also be going in A tier, and they go out and they grab Jaden Quaidens, Terrace Reed, Jacoby Gillespie, and Malik Brown. Jaden Quaidens is probably the best value in this draft, getting him at 20 when a lot of people were mocking him in the lottery and even like top 10. I saw a little bit in the early draft process, but you grab him, he can come in and kind of wait and develop and get his medicals right. You grab Terrace Reed to be able to step in right away and play some backup 5. Jacoby Gillespie can come in and be a shot maker off the bench and provide some aggressive, getting your skin type of defense. And Malik Brown, I think, is a sneaky pick to maybe make this roster. Versatile defender. If he can get just a little bit of a shot, I think he'll be well worth it for the San Antonio Spurs. But a lot of value in their picks. You get 4 guys who I think could personally make the roster and provide good minutes for them. But of course, we know that they're stacked at the guard position, and they're just a stacked team in general. So who knows what these what's to make, especially of these second round guys. But as of right now, really good value for them, and I really like their draft class. Now coming in at number 8, still in the A tier, we're gonna have the Atlanta Hawks going out and grabbing Kingston Fleming, Zubair Ejiofor, and Henry Versar. Now, the Zubair Ejiofor pick I thought was a little early. It probably would have been a little bit higher if they didn't pick him so early. But can't deny the talent. Cannot deny the talent. And of course, them going out and getting Henry Versar kind of saves their ranking for me, getting him at 55. You know, a guy that was mocked late first round and definitely early second round, if not late first round. And of course, you get Kingston Fleming, one of the top 4 guards in this class, and just a really sound and versatile class. You get obviously Kingston Fleming, your point guard of the future, can sit behind CJ McCollum. You get Zubair Ejiofor, and you get Henry Versar, 2 bigs that can come in and kind of stylistically are different, so they can provide 2 different looks immediately and you know, contribute to what you're trying to do down there in Atlanta. So, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan at first, especially when they picked Zuby, but I've come around to like and maybe even love this draft class. Now, here we're going to get into the S tiers. You see, we only have 7 teams left. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be at number 7 with the Di Mara, Bennett Sturts, and Otega Oweh. Now, another team where I thought that their second pick was a little high. I thought Bennett Sturts went a little high, but I took some time. I thought about it. You get a Di Mara, you get Bennett Sturts, you get Otega Oweh, 3 guys that can come in and, you know, fill in where you're trying to get some money off. You know, Lou Dort. I think Otega Oweh can come in and replace some of his minutes. Bennett Sturts can come in and replace the Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins spots and minutes. And of course, the Di Mara can come in immediately and replace the Isaiah Hartenstein minutes. So although I don't love the Bennett Sturts pick, I can see why they did it. And I think that I think all 3 of these guys can come in and contribute immediately, and I think that they are going to be really good fits. So for those reasons, I have them at number 7 in my first S tier team. As for the second S tier team, we are going with the Utah Jazz at number 6. Now, of course, you go out and you grab Darren Peterson, the best guard in this class. A lot of people said he was the best player in this class, and you get him at number 2. So, I mean, a lot of people probably would have had them higher than 6, but I kind of value a little bit of these, a couple of these other classes a little bit more, but not denying the talent of Darren Peterson. If my Wizards went and got Darren Peterson at number 1, trust me, I would not be mad. But yeah, really talented. I'm excited to see what Utah is going to do with their lineups, with, you know, Keontae George over there, Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. Are they bringing back Walker Kessler? You know, still some questions to be answered, but I'm definitely excited to see what they do in this upcoming season. Now at number 5, and as well going in S tier, we are also going to have the Los Angeles Clippers grabbing Keaton Wagler, Baba Miller, Nick Martinelli, and this Narcisse. I'm not going to say his whole name, but he's not in this class. So he's going back to school somehow. I'm not sure how he's allowed to do that, but that last pick is going back to school. So 3 guys, Keaton Wagler, Baba Miller, and Nick Martinelli. Obviously, Keaton Wagler was my favorite guard in this class. Baba Miller, one of my favorite players in this class as well. And Nick Martinelli is just an absolute bucket who can come in and provide some scoring off the bench if they do decide to put him on a standard contract. Three guys I think you got some really, really good value for. And of course, being at number 5, trading Ivica Zubac and being able to come away with Keaton Wagler and then getting Baba Miller and Nick Martinelli on the back end. I'm really, really a fan of this draft class. And I think all three of these guys can contribute for a long time in Los Angeles. Now, coming in at number 4, and it pains me to put us this low, I'm going to have the Washington Wizards. We come away with the best player in this draft, in my opinion. And we also go out and grab Felix Okpara. So AJ DeMassa and Felix, welcome to DC. I'm super excited for AJ to come to this team. You know, it's going to be a question about the lineups. You know, we have a lot of young talent, but it's going to be exciting to see how we navigate, and hopefully we can keep everybody around and kind of find spots for everybody. But it's going to be hard, especially with Trae Young and AD on this roster. But once again, we're just talking about these classes, but you get the best player in the draft. You're the number 1 overall pick. Really not too much to say about that. Now, coming in at number 3, I'm going to have Darius Acuff and the Sacramento Kings. I think that I think this was a really, really good draft for the Sacramento Kings. A lot of people said Darius Acuff was the best point guard in this class. You get him at 7. You don't have to trade up. You don't have to do any funny business like reported prior to the draft. You also grab Alex Caravan, a winner, a shooter, a dog, a leader. You go out and get Emmanuel Sharp, another guy who can knock down the 3 ball, another guy who can defend, another guy that's an absolute leader, you know, 2 proven guys at the college level. And I can kind of see the direction that Sacramento is going in surrounding Darius Acuff with shooting and some leadership and just some help in general. Obviously, we don't really know what their roster is going to look like in maybe like another 2 months, but I think that they're definitely ready to hand Darius Acuff the keys and kind of get off of these older guys like the Sabonis's and the DeRozans and the Zach LaVines. But yeah, I have them sitting at number 3 in terms of draft class rankings. And I think I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add one more above S tier. We're going to say S plus tier for these last 2 teams. Obviously, you see it's the Chicago Bulls and the Memphis Grizzlies. And at number 2, I'm going to have the Chicago Bulls, the first team at S plus tier. Now, Caleb Wilson and Dalen Swain, 2 guys that I absolutely loved in this draft class. Caleb Wilson, a guy that would probably go number 1 in a lot of other draft classes. Dalen Swain is a guy who I think would easily be a lottery pick in a lot of different draft classes. So really good value, and it's hard to get really good value at pick number 4. You kind of, you know, expect for guys to be in that range once you get to pick 4. It's usually, you know, a 3-person draft, but this year I believe it was a 4-person draft. And I think that Caleb Wilson, like I said, could have been a first overall pick in a lot of different drafts. And of course, you get Dalen Swain. So you still follow that mantra, slap. You know, you get the size, length, athleticism, got to work on the physicality for both of those guys. But both of these guys can put the ball on the floor. Both of these guys are versatile defenders. So you have a lot to work on with these guys. But, I mean, the potential is unlimited with both of them. Now, coming in at number 1 is the Memphis Grizzlies. And I'm almost going to put them in a tier by themselves, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just leave them at S+ along with the Chicago Bulls. Cameron Boozer, Karim Lopez, and Richie Saunders. 3 really, really good picks in itself. You know, point blank period. But when you add in the fact that you start at 19, or no, you start at 16, you trade back 1 with the Oklahoma City Thunder, you grab 2 second-round picks. You trade back to 21 with the Detroit Pistons, you grab another 3 second-round picks. So that's 5 second-round picks. Then you use those 3 second-round picks you just got from Detroit, send them back, and you grab Isaiah Stewart. So you basically get Isaiah Stewart for completely free. Masterful GM work from the Memphis Grizzlies. And then, of course, you grab Cameron Boozer, another guy who could have gone number 1 in a lot of different drafts, and a lot of people said was the best player in this draft. And Karim Lopez, one of my guys in this draft that I love. I thought was a lottery talent. I thought he was kind of a lock to go lottery up until like a week before the NBA draft. Really, really talented. You know, you can kind of see what they're going for. Strong and versatile, and, you know, can do a lot of everything. Both of these guys are really, really good have really, really good IQ, really, really good feel for the game. And of course, you grab Richie Saunders in the second round, coming off an ACL injury, but can shoot it, can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. Another guy with some good feel. And I think he probably would have went a lot higher if it wasn't for the ACL tear. But nonetheless, really, really good class, like my favorite class in this draft, and masterful work from the Memphis Grizzlies. And that is the tier ranking for every 2026 NBA draft class. If you enjoyed that video, man, make sure you leave a like. I got plenty stuff coming. Obviously, the trades are flowing. Summer League is going to be coming up soon, so be on the lookout for all that type of content. If you love hoops, this is the place to be. Make sure you sub up, turn your noti bells on, so you know when I'm posting and you know what's going on. It's been your boy Corey, and I'm out.